far across the pond, we bring you this special edition of the Ooktown podcast recorded at the Grand Northern Ukulele Festival in Huddersfield, England, with many new and returning guests, all interviewed by my co-host, Doug Brown. First up is Bernadette, Matt Stead, and Phil Doleman. So stay tuned for the Ooktown podcast. This is the Ooktown Podcast, episode 112, recorded during the Grand Northern Ukulele Festival 2023. A walking human pocket. Please support the Ooktown Podcast by becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/Ooktown or see the link in our show notes. Show some love to the podcast and give us a virtual tip in our jar. If you want to make a one-time donation, go to ooktown.com/donate. And if you enjoy the show, give us a review on iTunes. Help us spread the word about the ukulele. If you mention us at your ukulele gathering, let me know and I'll mention your group on the podcast. Now, stay tuned for Ooktown.
Oh, the Ooktown podcast is gonna start right now. Yay! Of course, that is the same theme that we always do here at the Ooktown podcast. It's always the same. Hello and welcome from Huddersfield, England at the Grand Northern Ukulele Fest. And I'll just have everybody introduce themselves.
Oh, hey, I'm Matt Stead from the UK. I'm not dead, but it's like Stead.
Yay, we're very happy that you're not dead.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, I'm Bernadette. So if you have debts and you burn them, that's me.
Yay!
I felt the pressure to make a joke.
Yeah, totally. It's good.
And of course, I am Doug. If you used to have some ground and then you made a hole, then you had Doug. So yeah, we're doing great. How is it like? It is so great to finally meet you guys. I've talked to both of you on the podcast before, and it's so great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just feeling a little bad that this little munchkin's making so much noise. I hope it's not going to peak the audio.
She's not talking about me, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all about making noise, so I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Really good, thanks, Doug. Yeah, nice to see you in person. It's
Yes,
amazing.
indeed. Yeah.
I have to keep poking you to pretend you're real, just to check.
Well, so all the way through the pandemic, I played with the Pandemic Pluckers in London, and I finally got to meet so many of them this weekend.
Yeah.
And it has been just wonderful. But I didn't realize they all had feet, and so yes, it was just it has been just wonderful. Okay, so so first off, why don't you tell us about the ukulele that you brought this weekend?
Oh, well, I didn't bring a ukulele because it's a uk festival, so you know that there's going to be many here.
Yes.
But I'll be playing several Ortega ukuleles just for fun, trying everything out that I can. I feel like the ukulele festival is a great opportunity to just try and play different instruments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite Ortega to play?
So I don't know if you've seen the Hydra that has the double neck.
Oh yes.
But I love to get together with another person and play at the same time. So that would be it. Yeah.
Two people on one uke.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice. So James Hill a couple years ago did a thing called Uke X, and that the Billie Jean that he does.
Oh yeah.
So my twin brother and I split it up. So he did half of them and I did half of them. And we were talking to James and he's like, I think you guys are kind of cheating, but but genetically we're the same.
Yes.
So
yes.
I feel like we're doing all right. But yes, indeed. So how about you?
Yeah, really good. So, what ukulele did I bring? So I bought two, I think, a Canalea and one made by Bo Hannum. He's like a really nice luthier and brilliant guy in the States. He's actually Australian, but I think he lives in California now, is it? I think. And I love his ukulele. It's really, really special. He made one with the River Severn going down it, which is kind of the river next to where I live.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Proper cool. But,
Nice. So, so the last that we spoke, I think you had just moved to a new location.
Yeah, you got it. So yeah, just moved in the Forest of Dean. So I've still got the same shop and everything, but now I have windows. So I have sunshine, which is really lovely. So yeah, still in the Forest of Dean. Just kind of moved across the building and stuff. But,
Very good.
Yeah, it's all good. All good.
The so where is the Forest of Dean in the overall sense of the world?
It's like I always say to people, it's almost Wales. It's like its own area in between England and Wales, so kind of just west of the River Severn.
Oh, okay.
And so it's kind of like it's almost like a hidden area where people have lived for years. You know the film Deliverance.
Yeah,
It's a bit like
I do.
It's seen a little bit like that in the UK. You kind of going down the River Wye and you hear and you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Paddle a little bit faster. But yeah, no, it's a beautiful area. Lots of oak and kind of ancient forests and stuff, which is really, really special. And yeah, living next to Wales is really lovely as well. So we get the best of both worlds.
I hear ya. Well, that's where we're going next on our vacation. Is that so my wife planned a 2-week vacation, and we spent a week in Barcelona, and
Nice.
then we get to go and see the whales.
Yeah. the Wales
I'm
and
really
Wales.
excited because we listen to whale songs to go to sleep. So, and I would imagine that they're just everywhere there.
Well, you should say it. We've been visited by whales in like the UK for the first time this year. We've got humpback
Really?
whales in the UK. So in all seriousness, there are whales in Wales.
So that joke doesn't work anymore.
No! Sorry, I've crushed your joke, Doug. I've crushed your joke. But yeah, there's no whales. I guess they're not in Wales because they're in the water though, so I guess it doesn't count.
Right.
It'd be a bit weird if they're on top of a mountain or something. I suppose.
Exactly. That would a couple of days later, that would
Yeah.
be really rough. We're actually looking forward. We've got some castle tours and things to do.
Amazing.
So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where I was going with that, but that's
all right.
That's okay.
Just where I am.
That's the
Yeah.
way the Ooktown podcast rolled, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I can't. If you could send me a picture of that ook, I'd love to take a look at it because that sounds
Totally. Yeah. I'll show you later.
awesome. Okay, so how do you feel taking stock of where ukulele is now, and where do you think we're going from here?
Wow, that's kind of a big question, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of. I feel like we're at a bit of a turning point, and I don't really know which way it's going because I guess the scene's been going. I mean, I've been playing 25 years now, and when I started, no one really knew what a uke was, so it was all like George Formby over here and all that
Right.
side, and I've just seen it like grow and grow and get bigger and bigger and massive. But it's kind of like a lot of people in this wave have been playing for 10 years, so we don't really know whether. I just hope it's not going to fizzle out. I feel like it won't because there's so many uke groups and they're always bringing on new members and stuff. But it kind of feels like, it could go either way, which is a bit scary. But
It's one of those things that I've always kind of felt like, well, if I like it and you like it, if it's not the most popular thing, that's okay. But I really feel like we've kind of passed a point where it's no longer, oh, what are you doing? Like everybody knows what you're doing.
yeah, totally. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's an element of me that misses that not novelty, because that can be seen as a negative thing, but when people first heard you played a uke and it's really exciting to them,
Yeah.
you're like, play me a song, like, what is this cool little instrument? Whereas like you say, like now you say I play a uke and they're like, oh yeah, so do I, so does my next door neighbour, so does my gran, it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
so it's kind of like, I guess it would be nice if it had that specialness again, but we just don't want it to become too exclusive, I guess. But I think one of the things that's changing, which is quite cool, is that it's become like an accepted instrument in music again. So you see like loads of really great bands and they're playing a ukulele not as a novelty thing, just because it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. It fills a need
Yeah.
as opposed to well, and you take a look at like going back to Soul Sister, like that. I feel like the ukulele on that track, just absolutely. We're all just going with the flow. That's the Ooktown podcast way. But the ukulele on Soul Sister, which is one of those kind of watershed moments. I think about the third wave of ukulele. Like I really think Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and of course Jake playing in Central Park, which I still get people sending me that video.
Yeah.
Which I had a friend say that I wish people would stop sending me that. And I'm like, well, that's somebody that saw a video they thought was cool and cared enough to send it to you. So I will take it every single time that I can get it. But you take a look at, like, both of those instances were, solo ukulele, and like the Hey Soul Sister was that ukulele sound worked into a band, and I really feel like it was really important. I also, so I worked at a small roadhouse, like a 200-seat roadhouse in the late 90s, and right when train was getting popular. So Denver was their stop as they were going from Salt Lake City to St. Louis, and so I've seen train probably 10 times. Of course, this is way back. It's like, yay! How do you feel? Like where do you think we are in terms of the ukulele, and where do you think we're going from here?
That's a really good question that I do ask myself as a full-time content creator for ukulele content.
Right.
I think about the future of the instrument, and then when you come to events like this, you don't see a wide range of ages represented.
Yeah.
You see more of a retirement group.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder, like, is it something that people pick up in retirement? So anytime that new people are retiring, will they come into the instrument? Or is it something that young people won't do? And I have seen a bit of a dip on ukulele views on the channel. And to supplement that, I've been creating some guitar videos. And for some reason, since I created guitar videos, I've seen both go back up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but in conversations with brands, I've asked them, how are your sales? And they're saying across the board they've seen about a 12% decrease in sales.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's going. I don't know if people are bracing for what may be an economic concern, and if that's where the loss of sales are going. But I think you have some people that have worked really hard to bring ukuleles into the schools, and as long as we have new people coming into it, I can see it just sticking around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, because I've got a ukulele shop, obviously, I've got a bit of an insight into that. And I kind of feel like it's two things. I think partly it's because this third wave, if you like, of ukulele, people have been playing for like 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And you probably know from yourself, I was the same, like in those early years, you experiment with a lot of different brands, don't you? And you want to try all the different sizes and the different woods and that. And then like after 5, 6 years, maybe even 10, you kind of narrow down to what you want.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those people have got their kind of dream ukuleles and they've kind of settled into it. But I do think from a UK perspective, I know the economy is really hurting. And I think people are really looking at what they're spending and kind of, cost of living and everything. I think it's really biting at the moment.
So this ties into it, but I saw that the price of, that the sales of lipsticks went up.
Yeah.
And so economists were saying that people are now spending on smaller pleasures, like a lipstick, instead of making big purchases. So,
that makes sense, yeah.
So, because I have a ukulele shop too, but it's all online, so I started adding capos and humidifiers, little accessories, so that
Yeah.
And
people-
lipstick.
and lipstick, right?
Ukulele lipstick.
Yeah.
Good on you. Yeah, and it makes sense. And also, I know it sounds daft, but people want to feel good about themselves, don't they? So even in, in a crisis and stuff, maybe if they're not spending on those big things, if you can,
Right.
get something like lipstick, not really, but it makes you feel good about yourself, doesn't it? It lifts the spirits and everything.
But what I hear you saying is that for everybody that has UAS, the ukulele acquirement syndrome, just 15 years is all you need, and then it cures itself.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
No, what he said is you find your brand, you just keep buying.
Yes,
that
exactly.
brand.
And that brand might be Ortega.
There we go.
I've not stopped. I've not stopped even after 25 years. Even though I've got my own shop, I still buy like ukuleles for myself. If I just see something, like I was upstairs and like the Carla Revelators, I was looking at them today. I was like, oh, they're really nice,
I haven't bought one in a long time, and I bought this Inya probably 8 months ago, and I just really love it.
So this setup, do you just switch over and play like a flute?
So it's right there.
That's to demonstrate it.
Because a
You
lot
can
of
sell
times,
this idea, you know that?
yeah, it's a rubber band. So
You can still sell the idea. Sure, it would sell.
Yes. Well, and at the end of the day, really, what I want to do is just give the way to everyone, and let everybody experience well. And that the idea that because the Brown family has been battening down, getting ready for whatever's coming, and but the idea that if you're trying to spend less, what's better than playing free music on an instrument that you own, and even if you aren't going out and getting a professional level instrument, one of the things that everybody says about the ukulele is it's a great starter. Like you can get into the game pretty reasonably.
I do think though, kazoo ukuleles,
Yes.
you've got to make it, Doug.
Exactly.
That should be your brand.
It's such a low barrier of entry with the ukulele. For years and years, it seemed like becoming a musician, you had to have a proper teacher or a proper instrument, or you had to go through it in the school system and enter it at a young age.
Yeah.
And then the ukulele, showed up, and I think YouTube played a big role in helping people learn by themselves at home. So you didn't need an expensive instrument. You didn't need to go through it at school, and now you didn't even need to hire a teacher. There's free content for you to learn with. So I hope that means it's here to stay.
Well, and one of the things that we were talking about while you were out chasing, which is fine. That's So I started playing when my daughter was born, and so that was 20 years ago. And the idea that I don't have to chase the kids as much anymore, but now I can't remember what point I was trying to make. But anyway, you guys are awesome. That was the point that I was trying to make. But that idea that certainly if you have a shop that changes the dynamic of it. But in general, if I like playing and you like playing, then if the third wave is decreasing in popularity, if we still have fun playing together, then we'll be okay.
I think the next few years will tell us, if people are just preparing for an economic crisis or if people are losing interest. I think it's the economic caution.
Yeah. Well, and going through upstairs, and I feel this way every time I go to a uke fest, but people are so excited. And it is so neat to see. And that idea that if you have that one kid upstairs like that's moving us forward. And if we can get that kid excited about it, and then that kid gets another kid excited, or that retiree, or that 30-something.
Well, that's the thing. Like everyone that I met that learns how to play ukulele, all of a sudden becomes a missionary, and they're out there recruiting more people.
And
into the
friends, let me tell you today, all you need to do is pick up that ukulele. Pick it up, yes indeed.
Like, do you have time to talk about the ukulele?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing at all.
Yes, there you go. Here's a free book.
But I guess you're right though. It shouldn't. There's no reason why that should end, because there's always that magic moment, isn't it, when people start playing uke and that love and the social side, and there's no reason why that should end.
Yeah.
So maybe it is the economics.
Well, and I've heard that in terms of the kind of the social side and I have no knowledge of what the kids are doing today. But I've heard that the group playing is not as interested. Like kids are not like 19 or 15 to 26-year-olds demographic is not as interested in going and playing together with people. That they're more interested in playing their 21 Pilots and then standing on my lawn and doing things.
And building a TikTok video.
Yeah, exactly. With their TikToks in there. And using the Ooktown stands behind the use of a metronome. So in no way TikTok is okay, because we stand behind that.
Other metronomes are available.
That's what that's about, right? Exactly.
Yes, that's what
Exactly. And so now we're going to introduce a third panelist.
Hey!
Come on up, because that's how we're rolling today.
Do I need to bring a chair?
Well, I think we have
there's
a
one
chair
here.
right on the end.
Sit next to me, Phil.
Hello.
You're right.
Hello, Doug. I'm all right. Good to see you. We in shot. Lovely.
I didn't even realise the camera was on. It's like
So relaxed. Doug's put you so much at ease.
Yes,
I
indeed.
genuinely had no
Look at
idea.
him. Look at him. I didn't even know.
I know.
I didn't even know that the camera was running.
I wonder what my nice shirt.
So let's start with go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. I'm Phil Doleman, and I've been doing this since my daughter was born 20 years ago, as you were just saying. So we've been playing the uke about the same time, but I've played other instruments for too many years, since I was a teenager. And this is my 10th time here, 10 years.
Yay!
I've been every single one of this Grand Northern Ukulele Festival, and they still keep having me back.
You must be doing something right.
There's a cupboard out there. They put me in the cupboard on Sunday night, and then next year they'll get me out, blow the dust off, push me on the stage again.
Put you in a freezer.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I look so young.
Let's let it fly.
Awesome. And so tell us about the ukulele that you brought with you this weekend.
I have brought my National Resophonic with me because I am old and therefore I distrust technology. I love technology like we have here, because it's breaking the fourth wall and ruining it for everybody, but I love this kind of technology. I don't like real-time technology on stage because it breaks, or I break it. I like to be able to play exactly the same as I do in the corner of a coffee shop, acoustically, and people stick microphones at me. And so I have a loud voice, so I have a loud metal resophonic ukulele most of the time.
Nice.
And I play blues, and blues sounds cool on those.
That is 100% for sure.
It feels a festival organiser's dream, because I do an annual retreat, and it's like, you send out the sound requirements to all the artists, and some of them are like, I need a subwoofer of like minus 41 hertz. Feels like
I know what that is.
I just need a chair. As long as I got a chair, I'm fine.
2 microphones, two stands.
Well, there's one time played even without that. You're like, I don't need a microphone. Just
and that's just because I'm too old now to stand up to play. My knees won't
hear that too. And so the question that we had gotten around to was, where do you think that the ukulele is now, and where do you think it is headed?
That's an interesting one, because I've been out there doing sort of radio interviews and stuff with the band I was in previously and now. And for a long time, it was that question of when's the bubble going to burst? Or when are people going to lose interest in this thing? And after about 7 or 8 years of answering that question, we just got bored with it. Me and the guy I worked with, and now me again. I just think, if it hasn't burst by now, it's not going to burst. It will just become an instrument like every other. So I know, I do a lot of things like folk festivals and blues festivals and things like that, and I used to be the only person there with a ukulele. Now there are dozens of people there with ukuleles, and bands you would never have thought will do a song and then they'll reach back and they'll pull out a uke. And nobody will go, ooh, a uke. They'll just go, it's the next song, it's the one he plays on the uke, great. And I love that. I love the fact that it's, when it stops becoming a novelty and just another instrument, then people are interested in the music that you are playing on it, and they don't get worked up about whether it's unusual or whether it's the latest thing or whatever.
Right. So, do you think that it has gotten to the level of castanets now that that people just accept that they're there?
Yeah, I've turned up at blues and jazz festivals before now. I also play five-string banjo. So what I tend to do is I play the five-string banjo for a bit, and then I put that down and pick up the uke and say, "See, it's not so bad now, is it?" But again, that's another instrument that's actually really traditional in old school blues. All those old blues musicians all play banjo, they play guitar for quite a while. But you turn up at a blues festival with a uke and a five-string banjo, and people look at you weird because you haven't got a Strat and you haven't got a big amp and a drummer. But the last few festivals I've been at, I've not been the only banjo player, I've not been the only ukulele player, and there have been other people playing slightly more out of the what they would say would be the traditional power trio, those kind of things. And certainly jazz, I know quite a few jazz singers who have taken up the uke because lockdown hit and they hadn't got a band.
Right.
And they go, I want to sing, but my pianist can't come around. So they learned how to play the uke, and then they could do their live streams and sing their songs strumming the uke, and they've kept it. They've kept it in the act, which is fantastic to see because it suits that music so well. Yeah. So I think it's going to be, in a good way, just another instrument.
That was kind of my hope too. My dad. During COVID, I started playing the accordion, and I just love it. It just makes me super happy. And my dad said, "Well, you should try. Since you started on the accordion, you should try playing the bagpipes too, because then you would play 3 instruments nobody wants to hear." And I was like, "Thanks, Dad. That's Father's Day is coming up, is it?" Yeah.
But he wasn't talking about the ukulele. He was talking about the kazoo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes.
We have a bagpiper here. One of the ukulele players is a great bagpiper, Percy.
Oh, very good.
Percy Copley, he's around the mount. I've just rehearsed with him because he's going to come and play with me tomorrow. And he, as well as playing uke and banjo and mandolin and guitar and all sorts of things, also added to that, the Great Highland bagpipes.
Nice.
You know, around about Burns night, you can earn quite a lot of money piping in a lot of haggises, running from pub to pub, from restaurant to restaurant, going, "There's your haggis, right, next one."
Okay, so let's break this down. Burns night,
right.
haggis,
And
then there was something else in there. But so when's the Burns night?
Well, Burns night is Rabbie Burns. It's a celebration. There's the poet, and there is a poem about that's recited when the haggis is brought in to serve to everybody at the Burns night feast. And the tradition is, because it's Scottish, the haggis will be piped in, so it will be brought in accompanied by a bagpiper, which only takes you a couple of minutes. And then you're back in the car and you're to the next restaurant and you do the next one and the next one and the next one.
That's the way to do it.
One night a year.
They spend about, I think it's 3 weeks, isn't it, where they have to chase the haggis around the mountains in Scotland. They have to catch a haggis. They have like this big massive net with string on the end. They have to catch the haggis. It's all part of the celebration.
And that's where the pipes come into it, because the pipers stand on the other side and they scare the haggises towards the nets.
That's it.
Trap them in there.
Yeah, I was born at night. Fantastic. So I, being an audio engineer, I did a funeral where they were coming in to play Scotland the Brave, and I walked up to the piper and I said, "So how do I mic this?" He's like, you mic this by me being outside, and it was every bit of 98 dB inside the church with him standing in the foyer.
Yeah.
It was.
They're built to terrify.
Yeah.
You would march over the hillside against your opponents in war, and they would hear not just a piper, but 30 or 40 of them marching. You have pipe bands, and the enemy would run in terror because it's a scary noise. That's what it was for.
Have you heard bagpipe jazz yet? One of my friends gave me a record of bagpipe jazz, and it was the only record that I've put on the car stereo where my wife was like literally about 4 seconds in. She's like, nope, no, we're not doing that.
I've done a couple of festivals with the Red Hot Chili Pipers, though.
Oh,
yeah, they'll come up.
Yes. So as soon as you just hear that, they start, isn't it? It's like,
AC/DC with bagpipes with flames coming out of the end of them.
Oh,
that is
It's
awesome.
worth seeing.
nice.
That is awesome. Okay, so where, if we want to find out more about you, where would we go?
You can search the hashtag 30-Day Youth Challenge, because I thought it would be so fun to take a person who's never played an instrument before, from day 1 holding it, day 2 tuning it, and day 30 playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Israel Kamakawiwo Ola's version.
Yeah.
So you can search for the hashtag 30-Day Youth Challenge, or just Bernadette Teaches Music.
Oh, very good.
And Euclandia as well, isn't it, Bernadette? A lot of my students have.
Yeah, Euclandia is a Facebook community that I created and I tell my subscribers about, but I don't post on there very much because I want it to be a very subscriber focused space where they can post their progress and be around other people who are also learning and not be intimidated or scared that someone's going to judge them.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but thank you.
No worries. So lots of my students have followed Bernadette's courses and stuff, and a lot of them are on Euclandia. That's how I know about it, and it just looks really cool. Looks really cool.
Thank you.
MattSteadUkulele.com. So that's where I've got all my ukulele videos and things. So I've done sequential courses. So I've done a beginner's course, an intermediate's course, an advanced course. And there's ukulele theory as well, and there's one. What's the other one? There's one other one as well, but you can find it all on there. Or if you're after a new ukulele, theukeroom.com. So we've gone into specialising into custom and vintage ukuleles now. So if you're after one of those, give me a shout.
You still got that nice national.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Someone had bought
yeah.
Is it 1927 or something like that? Yeah.
I've been thinking about it myself because I sold my national and kind of regretted it ever since. So yeah,
Maybe one day. I'm at my music website is phildoleman.co.uk, but I also have learntheukulele.co.uk, and on there's a list of all my YouTube videos and all of my learning resources that you can get for free on there. And there's a link to Patreon on there. I'm just about approaching I think this week will be my 250th lesson on Patreon.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
So there's a lot of songs on there.
Nice.
Outstanding. Well, and of course, Ooktown, you can find us at ooktown.com and look at stuff, listen to stuff. And yes, indeed. Okay, so if you were me, what question would you want me to ask you?
Oh man.
The reactions.
Yeah. This is where I'm looking for I happen to juggle fish, and I have some fish right here.
Yeah.
Mine would just be, what are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
Well, I mean, last night I was drinking something called Schiffenhefel. Yeah, it's a kind of grapefruity beer thing. It was so hot last night I was drinking loads of those. But yeah, a beer will do me. Thanks very much, Doug.
That almost killed me last night. I forgot that it has grapefruit juice in, and I'm not allowed to drink grapefruit juice in my meds. I was on my second one, and I sort of thought, this tastes really nice. I'm still standing. It's all right.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, you better stop making that dead joke about your last name.
Oh my god. I'm going to change my name to Stead now. I like that. Oh goodness, I don't know. Ask me what constitutes a full English breakfast.
Oh, yes, indeed. That has been one of the focuses of my trip over here. Is an English breakfast? What in your mind constitutes that?
Well, obviously I wouldn't advise this because I'm vegetarian, but hey, nice.
Oh, no, you got a vegan on there.
You've one up to us.
So toast, basically.
Just water. So sausage,
Right?
bacon,
Yeah.
eggs.
No, but
fried.
bacon, is it specifically the thicker, like hammy bacon?
Well,
Sort of
yeah,
streaky, thin.
but not kind of
Crispy.
American bacon,
Mhm.
like not as streaky and thin as you guys have it. But yeah, fried egg. If anyone says scrambled or poached, no, it's got to be fried.
Yeah.
I like a hash brown, but that's a bit controversial, isn't it? Some people like a hash brown.
The-
and that.
So today,
Yeah,
Like
some
pineapple
people.
on pizza.
It's like exactly. Yeah.
There are some will say potato has no place at the
Yeah,
breakfast table.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and half a roast potato,
Tomato.
Yeah.
tomato.
That's really
Okay.
important.
Really?
Because at the end of the meal, then you can leave that on the side of the plate, which is what everybody does with a little half tomato.
Especially when it's too hard. And then there's a controversial, like, should it have baked beans on that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
See, I like baked beans. I like a bit of wet with the dry, but some people hate it. But yeah. And then a slice of toast on the side as well.
Black pudding.
yeah, like,
Yeah. Oh,
black
I
pudding.
forgot black pudding. Yeah.
So today they didn't have black pudding. They brought the hash browns out after, like, are you happy? No, we're gonna bring these too. And I was like, okay. And then I thought it was a fried tomato, but or I thought it was a mushroom top. But then I ate it and was like, that doesn't taste like what I thought it was gonna be. I'll bet it was a tomato. So Doug Brown is fantastic at determining what it is that he's eating. So
I think blood sausage is one of
Yeah.
black pudding is one of those things. If anyone ever described to you what's in it, you would be like, no.
yeah.
It's nearly as bad as the haggis.
Yeah. I've got an idea for a meal. It's congealed blood
In a sausage.
in a sausage. Oh, no, I'm all right. But I did have a veggie one today. So I had veggie bacon, which is actually quite nice,
Mhm.
and then a veggie sausage instead of the sausage. So it's all good.
I had a pint of coffee.
A bite of coffee, even better.
Yes, but not the kind of coffee that you make out of a cow. So that's because vegetarian coffee, a little bit different. Because of course, in the United States, we put cow in everything. So it's
Beef coffee.
no, we don't do that.
We have that school.
Yeah, Bovril.
Bovril.
Bovril. It's what we drink at football matches. It's a real thing. So we have, it's basically like drinking gravy. So we have,
You know the fun in Marmite? You know Marmite?
Yeah.
If you imagine it's kind of like that, but you get that goopy stuff out and you put it in and you put boiling water over
Yeah.
the top of it, stir it up, and basically, yeah, it's great.
It's what people drink at half time to keep, because it's so cold over here in the winter, it warms you up.
Yeah, we all have to have hot drinks like this.
Yeah. But it's a bit gross.
There are other options for a hot drink.
Yeah.
It's sound like you're on the BBC. Other hot drinks are available in case you get told off for advertising.
Yeah. Bovril.
Okay, so I thought of if you wanted to be kind of curious and professional. When I met ukulele players and I asked them like, what was your first instrument? For most of the teachers and creators, it wasn't the ukulele. They started off with something else. So I would ask that question.
Oh, actually, let's go down the line. What was your first instrument?
Saxophone.
Oh, wow.
I have my bachelor's in saxophone. So
Nice.
that's what I studied, and yeah, but I'm not playing it. Playing ukulele.
Well, I did violin as a kid, but my mum used to call it the violin. But I guess guitar, really. Yeah, as a teenage guitar player, I wanted to be Kurt Cobain. But
And look at you now.
And look at Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Who's winning?
yeah. Oh, too soon,
Too
Phil.
soon.
Too soon.
Bass. I started playing as a bass player. I played in lots of folk rock bands. And last night, Jake Smithy's at Den Magic Party last night, I got up on stage to join them at the end, and Jake just put the bass in my hand and said, I need to go to the toilet, and left the stage, and then they counted off the next song. Okay, he did remind me before he left though that it was a 5-string, just in case I ended up 1 string too low. But it kind of all came back to me. Yeah, but because I play on my own, I don't really get to play bass very much now. You need people with you, and I'm kind of antisocial. So.
Well, one of the things that appeals to me so much about the ukulele is that it's kind of all together right there, and you don't, and especially being a sound production professional, like I'm so used to. Okay, we're gonna get the amp and the head, and then we're gonna wire that together, and then we're gonna get a buzz there, so we have to change out this and that, and then we're gonna get a pedal, and then the second pedal, and then the first pedal and the second pedal make a buzz, and so we have to or you have an ukulele, it just sounds great by itself, and it's yay!
Definitely.
Yeah, but that was one question. The other question that you could ask, maybe you feel like it, is what does your spouse think about your instrument collection?
So what does your spouse think about your instrument collection?
My first spouse made me give him away. That's why he's my my current spouse loves them. So he will stay.
Oh, good.
Did you check that on the first date? It's like, I've got questions. How do you feel about ukulele and guitar?
And lots of them.
Love it. I forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, spouse. I'm just conveniently forgetting that. Well, I think she's just kind of given up worrying about it now. It's because I got the shop. It's kind of, if Sharon, my wife, asks whether an instrument is mine or the shop, I just say it's the shop. It's fine. They're not mine. They belong to the shop.
That's a great idea.
Unfortunately, half the shop comes home to my house. That's the only problem.
I just haven't told my wife that I don't have a shop yet. No, my wife is very, very supportive, and I have a cupboard under the stairs, and as long as the door will close, everything's fine. If we can get it in there, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, yes, she's very supportive of what I do, and because I disappear almost every weekend off somewhere, and either she's very supportive of it, or she just enjoys her weekends being not there.
Well, and finding that balance is such an important part of being married, I think. So I only own 2 ukuleles, but of course each one of my kids owns 5, and then Kai owns 6, and none of them play. I think we're to the point where some of the cats have ukuleles. But I once asked my darling wife Kai, so does it bum you out that I have so many ukuleles? And she said, you could have been a motorcycle guy. So really, all of your ukuleles put together, not even one motorcycle. So.
But is that a negative thing, or about, like, you could have been a motorcycle guy?
No,
That's what she really wanted.
We are very we are not the thrill seeker couple. So.
Did you say your wife's name was Kai?
Kai.
Like K-A-I?
K-Y-E.
K-Y-E. Ah.
And so she grew up in a small town in rural Oregon, and it was the Kimberly year, where out of the 60 people in her high school, there were 3 Kimberlys.
Yeah.
And so she started going by Kai, and then her graduation present to herself was legally changing her name. And so she makes me happy.
It's a shame it wasn't K-A-I, because they're a good ukulele brand. And you could have just been, here's a ukulele for Christmas. Here's another one.
Yes, indeed. Get sponsored.
Yeah. That's a lovely name.
Yeah, well, I like it. We actually just passed 25 years of marriage.
Oh, congratulations.
And we went to Hawaii for the first time.
Oh,
and it was
nice.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I looked at your photos when you visited, and I was very envious.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, one of the best weeks of my life. That was.
My kids are getting to the age where they're going to clear off pretty soon.
Yeah,
we'll go to Hawaii.
Should do it.
More room for ukuleles.
What we need to do is work out a kind of ukulele artist from the UK tour of Hawaii.
Yes.
We'll go over in a big boat.
That sounds great. I'll
Well,
run.
you've heard of the ukulele cruises. So what you need to do is just get one that goes from England to Hawaii.
Portsmouth to Hawaii. Yeah. It took about 9 months.
Yeah, the thing is, if we went from Portsmouth to Madeira, then we could remake the Journey of the Ravens Crag, which
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
ukuleles or Machette de Braga
Yeah.
from Madeira to Hawaii. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And we could get there and they go, we've already got them.
Yes. But let's not replicate the bit where like loads of people died on
Yeah, no,
get
skip that.
scurvy and all that stuff.
Skip that.
Yeah.
It's like Moses taking people to the promised land, and it's a whole new group of people that get there.
Yeah. Like our own cults.
Okay, here. So one last question. If you were going to design a ukulele cruise, what cruise would you design?
Oh,
Ooh.
are you getting ideas? Like, are you gonna design one?
Oh, I've already got mine. It's
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's it goes from Denver to Albuquerque. It's on a bus, and you have to pay to get off. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I was thinking you could go around the canals of Birmingham.
Yeah.
That's quite near to me. Yeah, around the canals of Birmingham. That'd be quite a good one. Either
Oh.
that or a blues cruise, because it sounds good.
Yeah,
it
It
does.
rhymes. So maybe
Uh-huh.
down the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Absolutely. On a riverboat. Oh man, that'd be cool.
Somebody must have done that already.
Oh, yeah.
That's too good an idea not to have been had before.
Look it up. Maybe they have it.
If not,
Yeah.
you'll in.
I'm in.
Yeah. I would do one of Baja, like Mexico.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I'm already in Southern California, so doing a cruise of Baja, making stops and seeing the whales and everything.
That'd be cool.
And everything's super affordable in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I would probably do that.
I reckon I would do the UK to Hawaii just out of pure selfishness. Just so I get to go. Only we cut out I reckon we go through the Panama Canal. We'll cut out going all the way around the bottom.
Yeah.
Straight through Panama.
You aren't
Canal.
going to go for the Northwest Passage?
No. Yeah. Bring your own shovel.
This is so great! Playing ukulele with you guys!
Yeah. Any way to get to Hawaii.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. It has been, once again, I've had such a great time talking to you all, and yay!
Yay! Thanks for having us, Doug.
That is
And
so
thanks
much
for
to
everything
meet
you do as well. Thanks. I've been following Ooktown for years, and I'm a fan before I ever was on it. I love it. So.
Our next interview is with Peter Luongo and Boris Ukulele. Let's listen in.
My name is Peter Luongo. I'm a longtime ukulele teacher, musical director from Vancouver, British Columbia, actually Langley, British Columbia, technically. And this is 42 or 43 years that I've been involved in the ukulele business.
Right, my name is Boris Mogievski. It's a hard name to pronounce, but people refer to me as Boris Ukulele. That's where you can find me online. So I teach online. I'm a performer. I started as a performer, but then I built up a community online of ukulele players, ukulele lovers, who follow me and who take lessons from me. And that's what I do.
Terrific. First off, let's start with you talking about the ukulele that you have with you today.
So I've got an Elite Series Kala instrument that Kala built for me, I think 5 years ago. I've got myrtle body and torrefied spruce top, so it's naturally dried, that I've actually strummed right through. And this is the instrument that I use for teaching, for playing, and I love it. Great custom instrument, delighted with it.
Yeah, so I've got the Revelator. Kala just released this one. It was a collaboration with Pete, who's I forgot the name.
Pete Halbert.
Pete Halbert, right? So they did a collaboration on this beautiful instrument, handcrafted in the U.S. I just got it like literally a month ago. Seen it ever since. I cannot take my hands out of it. I'm enjoying it to the fullest. Plays like butter. It's smooth. The body is so thin, but yet the sound is so big. You can plug it in, so that's what I like to plug it in. I like to have some volume anyway. But it's just a new lines of instruments. They're there outside, people are just trying them out. And the Revelator, that's the one, the Revelator.
I actually have a friend who just picked up one of those, and he is in love with
It might be that one.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah.
The oh yes. Okay. So where would somebody go if they wanted to find out more about you?
Well, Langley Ukulele Association and the Langley Ukulele Ensemble was the program that I founded, and it was featured in the movie The Mighty Uke.
Woo!
Yeah, yeah. And that program has been going now for just over 40 years. And this is kids, teenagers, and we have as young as 7, 8 years old working through the system, and as old as 18 playing. These are kids that have had a chance to travel to Hawaii. They've performed at the Sheraton. I personally took them to perform at the Sheraton Waikiki for 22 years, 23 years. Our son has now taken up the group since I've retired, and he's bringing them back again this summer. So one of the sites is langleyukes.com, at Peter Luongo Ukulele on Instagram. The other program that I'm involved with now is taking an adult group called the Legacy Ukulele Ensemble. I work with them. They're from all over the US and parts of Canada. And that group comes together about once a month. We do a number of festivals. They are a group of adults that are learning to play, and they've adopted the instrument as their vehicle to be able to express themselves musically. So that group has its own website, legacyukulele.com, and they're doing a great job. We'll be at Mighty Uke Days in Lansing, Michigan next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next week. How did it get to be where that's next week already?
Yeah, yeah.
You're fast, Peter.
Yeah,
Fast.
yeah. So those are spots, langleyukes.com, legacyukes.com, at Peter Luongo Ukulele.
Well, Boris Ukulele, so I guess if you just Google that, I'm there on Instagram, on YouTube, mostly on Instagram I would say, but just entered YouTube and doing my things there as well. Patreon, I have my community on Patreon, so that's where I do most of my teaching. My website, so it's all with Boris Ukulele. The moment you just Google it, I guess you can find me. I'm a color artist, so you can find me on their website as well.
Yes.
So I represent them. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, color represents both of us, so
Yeah.
as I said, between the two of us, you get the long and the short of it.
That's true.
Awesome. And here's a little deeper of a question. So where do you think the ukulele is now? And you actually should have a terrific perspective on that.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you think we're going?
Well, I guess I'm going to go back because when I started doing this, it was a program that we did with thousands of kids in the Langley School District. Thousands of kids. Like, we had lots of kids playing. And Tiny Tim had just done his thing, and to be frank with you, it was not a well-revered instrument. It was seen as not cool. And of course, what's happened, I'm going to say through the 80s, the kids that I worked with started really making a name for themselves into the 90s, going off to Hawaii. And so our community really adopted it. And what I noticed was as the instrument became popularized in pop tunes, you can't watch a television commercial and not hear the ukulele playing in the background. So the instrument has really gained strength. And so now I'll talk about where we are at now. Post-COVID, I think people want to come back together because prior to, it was a really powerful community. And we have folks teaching online, and we have folks that are attending festivals like here at Gnuff. So it's a unique instrument in that you learn it in a not traditional or conventional way. You don't necessarily go to your music lesson. So where I think it's going, Doug, is I think we're going to see a desire to try and fill in the gaps. And what I mean by that is we've got a situation where people have picked up dribs and drabs, pieces. Right. You know, I can play 4 chords and I'm going to go learn how to improvise. Well, there's a huge gulf between 3 or 4 chords and learning to improvise that if you want to continue with the instrument and do something with it, you need to fill. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because this community is a great community. They're really good people, positive people. I'm hopeful that they will have a desire to fill that gap with learning knowledge. And we tend to be, not exclusively, but a group of folks who have some time and a desire to use that time in a way that fulfills us. And music does that beautifully. So my personal mission is to help people become musically literate. So I don't want to tell people where to put their fingers. I want to teach them to fish,
Right.
so that they can keep feasting on the instrument.
I hear you. Now, would you attach that line to one of the tuning pegs, and how would you tell when you get a strike? I'm not quite sure how you would maybe use it as a harpoon.
Yeah, yeah. I you know what? Seriously, looking at a learner, you know that they've figured it out when they're able to take the concepts you've taught them, put them together in their own minds, and come up with a new concept, like a
Right.
new learning. That is truly learning. If I give somebody information, give them the context for it, and allow them to process it so that they come up with a new discovery, now you've done that. You've given them the teaching of how to fish so that they can go and cast and feed themselves.
That is a wonderfully eloquent way of putting that. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Awesome.
Good one. Well, I must agree about a lot of things that Peter was saying here. You know what? I like to refer to myself as a musician before being a ukulele player. So for me, we're all speaking the language of music. And the beautiful thing about this instrument, and that's why I chose this instrument as my first instrument, is because it's accessible and everyone can learn it and everyone can be introduced in a very quick and positive way to music. Some people are scared, you know, like you pick the guitar for the first time, you try to play a chord and you're like, nah, it's not for me, just too difficult, it takes like half a year until I get this one. So this is just a very inviting way for people to be introduced to what music is all about, because it's a beautiful thing. I don't think it's about the ukulele, personally for me, it's about the language of music. So it's a very positive place and it just makes the world a better place. I think the moment you understand that with music, you can communicate with everyone around the world. There's no cultural differences there, you know. So it's just beautiful. And I like to take it to the, you know, that's how I also teach. You know, it's a bit of a similar vision, you know. So I do involve some theory. I do involve, you know, like the basics. You know, you don't have to go. Not everyone has to know it all, but you know, there's like. It's like a language, but it's a very, very profound language. There is room for everyone. You can jam with a complete beginner as long as the foundation of the rhythm is there. You can have fun with everyone. You know, it's beautiful. So yeah, just sharing the passion to this thing. You know.
Absolutely. Well, and you know, I am a professional stagehand and audio engineer, and in the clubs that I used to work in, they said, you know, everybody had their little slot. Like there was the Django guitar guy, and then like the conga guy, and they said, well, what do you do? And I said, I'm your audio engineer. And it wasn't until my daughter was born that I picked up the ukulele and really had never played an instrument. I have played every day for 20 years, 3 months and 6 days. Because I know that I started the day she was born, and but it's and it changed my life, just really so positive. And having people, and especially you know, a lot of my education has come from YouTube and being online, and having the huge amount of teachers out there to be able to say, you know, if this teacher doesn't speak to me, I can go and talk to somebody else. And it's unbelievable how great the temperature of the water is. To go back to the fishing,
Yeah.
but yes, so I'm very, very excited about it. If you were me, what question have I not asked you that you would ask you?
So how did you get started in ukulele?
Well, how did you get started in ukulele?
In British Columbia, where I'm from, we had heard about a program that was started by a gentleman named Chalmers Dome in Nova Scotia. Chalmers' program traveled across Canada and rested in Langley, BC for a bit. And the school district that I was hired to, the Langley School District, was hiring teachers to teach this program. Coincidentally, they were teaching the program at the university level as a classroom instructional method for children. So I took the course in my studies, ended up teaching the course after I got hired by the Langley School District. And the key to it is that this was a program that had a sequential approach to teaching children music. So if you go online and see what Langley Ukulele has done, you see some of the YouTube videos and some of the music that's been produced, everything from Flight of the Bumblebee to Rhapsody in Blue to Tico Tico done ambidextrously. All of that playing is a product of a systematic approach. That's the point I'm making earlier about filling in the gaps. So I got started because I studied to be a music teacher. My background was playing a cultural instrument. I'm of Italian heritage, and I played the accordion and played Italian folk songs and did gigs for Italian weddings and for I played at cabaret restaurants and along the Italian Strip in Vancouver. This instrument became magical to me when I realized the potential for teaching music, and quite frankly, there's a lot of music that comes out of this instrument. Boris is a great player. He makes it sing, but the truth is that any person can go beyond just being a player. They can become a musician, and they become musically literate if they approach the instrument in a way that allows them to learn. So, my start was because I wanted to teach music to kids, and ultimately, I think it was divine intervention that this instrument ended up in my hands. Yeah. Boris, how did you get started?
Well, my story is a bit less exciting. I started as a guitar player, so that actually helped me, like with all the the sing stuff on the neck. So that definitely helped me understanding whatever I'm doing. So I did follow. I'll rewind. I'll go back to my sister is a jazz musician, so she's playing the piano. She's 10 years older than me. I always looked up to her. I never understood what this whole jazz thing is like. For me, it sounded like one giant mass of notes. So I wasn't really inspired. But she was also listening to good music, like Michael Jackson, I don't know, some good rock music, Led Zeppelin. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I picked up the guitar, little by little, listening to all the jazz stuff, and then I discovered, hey, there is electric guitar, there's this and that. So I progressed, and I decided, all right, I want to be a professional musician. I decided that at the age of 15, 14, it wasn't an easy decision, everyone's like, no, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that. But so I played guitar for many years. I'm originally from Israel, so that's where I was raised. Then at the age of 19, I moved to the Netherlands to actually study professionally. That's where I did my second degree in jazz guitar. I performed in different places. I had my own band. I wrote my own music. I played with various instruments. I picked up the bass. I tried the trumpet, I tried the harmonica, you name it, it wasn't really a successful try, but anyway.
Did you try the accordion?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
I
leave it to Peter.
You haven't lived until you tried the accordion.
I leave that to. I'm not even good at the piano. It's all like string instruments mainly.
Yeah.
The trumpet. It was literally a 1 week thing, and then I realized no, man, don't touch the brass instruments. That's it's really different. So, but string instruments was always my thing because of the guitar. So what brought me to the ukulele? So up until recently, I was teaching at the university in a city called Delft. It's a small town, but it's a very famous for its international university, like worldwide. So there are a lot of international students. It's a very big university in Europe. And I had my guitar course there. And what I needed to do is to teach guys in 7 weeks how to play guitar. And I'm talking about complete beginners.
Right.
Well, some did practiced, some didn't. You know, like you can be the best teacher you you can be, but like what is in your hands is in your hands. But at the same time, I wanted to see the guys do something and enjoy. You know, it was about like it's not rocket science. You just want the guys to play a bunch of songs. You know. So I was like, why don't we try a ukulele? You know, why are they breaking their fingers right now? Just the basic chords. So I picked up the ukulele, built a little community around the university, and I saw like everyone is so enthusiastic about this instrument, and like people from everywhere, from China, from India, like tons of people. And what they did, they took that instrument right back to their countries when they graduated, and I was like, suddenly I see like the community is growing in places like. When I started the course, like the ukulele, people would refer it as a little guitar, or like they would just laugh at you, like, what is this, you know? So, I mean, it kind of, right at that period, people started to become more aware of what ukulele is all about. And I was like, all right, I'm a teacher, I do a lot of teaching. So why don't I try to introduce guitar via the ukulele? I mean, it's fine, guitar is a beautiful instrument, but you can take it one step at a time. Start with this, then move to the guitar. And well, I didn't intend to switch fully to ukulele, but what happened was that I injured my finger by playing the cajon, the percussive instrument. So I got overexcited, when you're jamming and you're all like, yeah, like what we were doing there, like you forget about the time and then you're late to your show. So yeah, I was just banging on this thing, and then I messed up my tendon. And I realized like guitar became just too rough for me, like I couldn't bend, like bar chords became, so like naturally I realized like, hey, there is a ukulele at home, so like ended up picking that one, and the rest is history,
Nice.
And with COVID, COVID is basically where I started releasing my things online. I wasn't really present on all these like social medias platforms, but then I released a couple of films and people liked it, and yeah. That's how it went.
Oh, very cool. One of the things that I did all through COVID is play with the Pandemic Pluckers in London.
Okay.
And through that, I met a guy named Boston Lou, and we were playing. Denver Doug and Boston Lou were playing in London. But one of the things that I would do is I had like a little 12 bass accordion, and I'd play along. And Lou, his father passed away, and he's like, Doug, would you like an accordion, a bigger accordion like that? So he sent me a 48 bass, and like, but you haven't heard Wonderwall until you've heard it as a polka. It's
all right.
Anything else that we haven't covered that you guys want to talk about?
No, I'd appreciate you gave us the time to speak. I hope the folks out there just stick with the instrument, keep playing, keep working at it, keep working at honing the musicality and the literacy that you have an opportunity to develop through your playing. And
if you're cajoning your musicality, watch that tendon.
Yeah,
that's very important.
That's a good one. That's a good one. By the way, just a quick thing. It's our first time playing together. I mean, my first time playing with you.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. We're about to hit the stage in about 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's why we were just practicing there. I was trying to learn the songs that Peter is going to be playing.
Excited about it. It's going to be great.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Outstanding. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Coming up on deck is Elisabeth Pfeiffer.
Hello, I'm Elisabeth Pfeiffer. I'm from Germany, also living in Austria. I've been to Genève in 2017 and 18, and I'm so happy to be back. And I'm having a blast so far.
Outstanding. Well, welcome to the Ooktown podcast. And you can just look that way, and then I'll cut it together and make it awesome. What part of Germany?
I'm from the southeast, so Bavaria.
Oh, very good. Very good. One of the Pandemic Pluckers that I played with for all through the pandemic is named Uwe, and he's from Germany, and it's made me so happy. Yes, indeed. So describe what you love about the ukulele.
I love about the ukulele that it's very egalitarian, and you can find all kinds of musical styles, all kinds of personalities, all kinds of people in general surrounding this instrument and united by this common instrument. Also, what I really love about the ukulele is that you can do things on it still that haven't been done on it yet.
Ah, so succinct and so correct. Absolutely. That's terrific. Tell me about the uke that you have right there.
Oh, that's an Australian instrument, Barren River ukuleles, and it found me through after a few years existing in this world. It was pre-owned by several collectors. It went from Australia to Hawaii, and then to Singapore, and then to Switzerland, and then to the north of southern Bavaria, Franconia. And a good friend of mine, they collect tenor ukuleles, and I just wanted to check out what they have and see where I could have one built. And then that instrument, we fell in love, and it took me 3 days to convince my friend that she loved it also very much, to convince that friend that the destiny of this instrument will be on stage. And yeah, so now I have it, and I'm very, very happy with it.
I love that story. That's great. That's great. Okay, so what's coming up in the future for you?
What's coming up in the future for me? Several things. I'm working on a solo album, which I hope will be ready by the fall. It will contain new music or very contemporary music pieces that have been written for me or with my playing in mind over the course of the past 2 years. But no worries, not all of it is going to be very experimental or very, very out there. There's also some absolutely lovely tonal music, and I'm trying to kind of have an arrangement of pieces that will touch the heart, no matter what musical language they use to do it.
Oh, that sounds, to use your own words, very egalitarian. Yay! Well, cool. So what question should I have asked already that I haven't yet? Oh, did I miss them all?
Yeah, you've asked them all. I don't know, about, I mean, that was my future, but the future of the ukulele maybe in general.
Yeah, well, and do you feel like, so this being the super extended third wave of the ukulele, do you feel like there's a change coming in the popularity of the ukulele? Or even more importantly, does it matter?
Firstly, yes, I think there's, I don't know if there's a change coming, but there's definitely a development, and you already mentioned the prolonged popularity wave, and I personally think it's for a very particular reason. Because in this third wave, the ukulele is regarded a musical instrument, a sound that adds to bands, that a means of artistic expression, whereas in the former two waves, it was more of either novelty or an entertainment tool, which is great, and we have a great tradition in that, and that's to be appreciated, and that will hopefully continue. But I think that is the reason that is now considered a sound rather than something to look at. And does it matter? No, but things are always in movement and development, so I think it is a development that is naturally coming, and one part, and a part that I'm part of, will be having it enter academia more and more, which is, and I think there is something to be lost, that egalitarian flair. So we need to be, I think we need to be careful around that and appreciate everything around it, while also moving moving the edges of our garden, maybe of our little area where we live, slightly to the outside, but while always appreciating and loving what we already have. So that would be my wish for the future of the ukulele.
Yay! That is a fantastic answer. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us. And yes, indeed, if you get a chance, what website can people go to find more out about you?
That will be elisabethpfeiffer.de for Deutschland, and Pfeiffer like Michelle Pfeiffer, as we in Germany say, with 3 F. 1 for the E before the EI and 2 after. Thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome. Yay!
Next is Marc Gallagher. Here's his interview with Doug.
Hi, I'm Marc Gallagher. I am a ukulele player from Manchester, England. I've been at Gnuff Grand Northern Ukulele Festival pretty much every year running since 2016. So it's wonderful to be back and to be part of the furniture almost.
Exactly. If you were a type of furniture, what kind of furniture would you be?
I'd probably be a chair because I'm lazy as anything. As well, I've also got foot problems, so I always like to just try and rest and relax where I can, and hopefully I can bring that rest and relaxation to other players.
Well, we're in favor of relaxation here at the Ooktown podcast. So tell us about your collaboration project.
So since about 2019, I've been doing collaboration videos with other artists in the ukulele world. I'd meet up with them at festivals, and we'd just get together, find a quiet spot, and we'd record a cover together. This kind of developed into something in 2020, where the advent of the pandemic and all remote working meant that I was able to start working with people further reaching, which was fantastic. So I've absolutely enjoyed that, and then it peaked probably last year when I got to collaborate with Jake Shimabukuro at this very festival.
Woo! That's awesome. What did you collaborate? What did you do for your collaboration with him?
We played the song Kawika. It was taken. It's not his own song. I can't remember. It's a Hawaiian traditional of some description, but it's taken from his album Travels. When I met up with Jake the night before to talk about that, I think it kind of piqued his interest that I mentioned that and I cited that album. I think that was one of the reasons why he was so open to working and playing some music with me, which is just a fantastic experience.
Outstanding. So tell me about the uke that you have with you this weekend.
I've got a couple. I'm a Pono guy, one of Pono's artists. So I've got a Pono tenor. It's a Pro Classic with cedar top and ebony back and sides. That is my main ukulele. I adore it just based on the snap it has. Cedar is my favourite tone wood. Absolutely. For most of my set today, though, I'm going to be playing on baritone, which is also a Pono. It's the Acacia Baritone Deluxe, so Acacia top and back and sides. I've had that. I got that 2020 as a Christmas present to myself, and it's served me quite well so far. And most of my recent singles have been written on baritone.
Nice. Yeah. Aren't presents to yourself the best? Who knows what you want more than you?
Absolutely. Yes. As much as. Also, my family has a habit of getting not the best presents, in the sense of they would go, okay, Marc is the ukulele player, what do we get him? I know, let's get him a spoon shaped like a ukulele. Perfect, exactly what I wanted. So it's nice to occasionally just splash out, especially when I was in a position to be able to really treat myself and get such a lovely little ukulele. Yeah.
Outstanding. So what do you think? One of the things that we've talked quite a bit about on the podcast is what do you think? Where do you think we are in terms of the ukulele, and where do you think we're going?
Where we are is we're a niche within a niche, the festival circuit especially, and then we look at seeing the rise of influencers such as Bernadette, such as the folks who endorse Flight ukuleles, especially seeing Flight's partnership with these people, seeing Ortega, who are partnering with Bernadette. So I think we're going to start seeing more on the Instagram, TikToker like style of presentation and interaction and community. And I think we're already seeing it so far with brands like Flight and Ortega who are working with these. I imagine that more brands are going to try and jump on this. It's also nice seeing other creators like the Ukulele Project of all varieties in the UK being represented, and their social media game is fantastic in the way they are creating buzz, not just for themselves but for the festival as a whole. And that's what I imagine is going to be happening. It's going to be more brands working with more influencers as we get greater traction, and we're going to be seeing a lot more solid intermediate level instruments being promoted, and hopefully that'll lead to a greater growth of players.
What a great answer. That is terrific. So what question have I not asked you yet that I should ask you?
I'd probably say like, hey, where can I listen to your amazing music and buy all your merch and give you money and stuff? That's probably like be the one question.
That's the last question.
But you could probably ask me about any of my original music, the stuff that I write and play.
Where would we go if we wanted to find out more about both the collaboration project and your original music?
Okay, so everything can be sourced on markgallaghermusic.com, Marc with a C, that is. Or you can actually type in markwithac.co.uk and that'll take to my website as well.
Nice.
Literally Marc with a C. Stupid. So I've got that. My collaboration project is... it's found on my various social medias that comes in videos. I've also got on YouTube, I've got the playlist full of I've got over 100 probably of Marc Gallagher's Collaboration Corner. And there's going to be plenty more episodes which are going to be filmed throughout the course of this festival.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. This was awesome.
My pleasure. Cheers for having me.
Continuing on, we feature the Mayor of Dorkshire.
I am Phil, and I am the Mayor of Dorkshire, and I played today on the Saturday on the courtyard.
Very good. Describe for us what it is that you do.
So I am like a walking meme. I find things funny. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a comedian, but my songs are very light-hearted. I absolutely love the wide range of music that's out there, but I think a balance is nice. So while some people are having those feels on stage, I'm a bit more, I've got songs about Pac-Man, I've got songs about Lollipop Ladies, which is a crossing guard in America. Are you aware of a
Lollipop Ladies? I heard part of that. I was like, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah. So a Lollipop Lady, I know I'm digressing, but it's like a crossing guard outside of school, and they're called Lollipop Ladies because they tended to be ladies, although we're not gender specific now, and they had a big stick with a circle on the top that said stop. So so going back to the question you asked me, I tried to have fun. My set was nice, and I had all I need is just to see two people smiling. I don't need laughter. I don't need raucous laughter. I just need, if someone's smiling, that's all I need.
I hear that. Well, and that is the credo I live by. We were talking just a little bit about what makes somebody cool. And trying to convince kids that it's convincing yourself that you're cool, and then everybody else, who cares what they think? But
yeah, that's the key.
Tell me about the ukulele that you brought with you today.
I have bought a Rebel ukulele. It's a double cream. It's a concert, and she's beautiful. I'm terrible when it comes to anything technical, either music technical or with the ukulele itself, but what I can tell you is it's a beautiful warm sound, and I bought it from quite a famous shop over here, the Southern Ukulele Store down in Bournemouth. And yeah, no, it's done me well. I've had it a couple of years now, and yeah.
Nice. If people want to find out more about you, where would they go? Where would they go on the internet webs?
Right, so I am the Mayor of Dorkshire, and you can catch me on all the social medias, so the usual Facebooks, Instagram, etc. I am not yet a big boy. I need a website, and that's letting me down. And I also am in the process of recording music, so hopefully, fingers crossed, watch this space, there'll be some music platforms soon.
Nice. So, where do you think we are at with the ukulele, and where do you think we're going?
So it's interesting for me because I'm relatively new to the scene. I've only been kind of going around local pubs, clubs and festivals for about 4 years, and about a year and a half there was something going on in the last 4 years. So it's interesting for me. What I find great to see is there is definitely a building ethos there, and you've got at the festivals themselves there's a real community, and you see faces at certain places, and I think where we are headed is a bit of a I never know if this is the right word, so apologies, but it's like, is it the zeitgeist where like we're getting to a point where the ukulele is, I don't want to say becoming cool, because what we just said, right, ukuleles are, whatever is cool to you is cool. But I think we are getting to a point where you're seeing a lot of artists in mainstream media pick up the ukulele for a couple of numbers. The likes of Lizzo, Billie Eilish, etc., and a lot of kids are starting to pick it up, and it's lovely to see the in the UK we've got the ukulele projects, which are going out and doing great work in communities. So yeah, I know that was a very broad answer to your question, but hopefully it made some sort of sense.
Oh, fantastic! Well, and kind of on purpose, it's a little nebulous, because we've talked a lot about, the third wave of ukulele popularity, and whether or not, like, did it crest with My Guitar Gently Weeps, or was it earlier than that, or was it later, and is it going to crash the way the other two did? And as we've been talking about, for me, like, if you like it and I like it, who cares? Like,
it's such a welcoming scene. It really is, and I think, not to get too deep at Grand Northern Ukulele Festival, but I think we could all stand to have a bit more sunshine in our hearts. And even when you look at artists like Marc Gallagher, I just watched his set out in the courtyard, and he's got some incredibly dark songs that go to some deep and dark places, but there's a warmth to the ukulele that just kind of, I think more people should welcome the ukulele into their life.
Absolutely. So, what question have I not asked you that you would ask you?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, that's my catch-all. Like, for example, I juggle with fish, and I happen to have some fish right here. That's what this question's about. I am the world's worst personal salesman, so it's very difficult for me to think what is interesting about me that people would want to know. Okay, why are overalls the greatest of all?
Now that's the question. You see, I just a little poke in the right direction. Overalls, as we were talking just before, overalls are just comfortable. They are comfortable, and they are very useful. And I used an analogy the other day to someone who said, they're just not cool, and I was like, I don't care if they're cool. I am a walking human pocket.
And our final guest is Uke Dad. Here's what he had to say.
Right, so I'm Uke Dad, but I'm also in a duo with my daughter, and we go under the names Big D and Little D.
Outstanding. Well, welcome to the Ooktown podcast. It's fantastic to have you here.
Thank you.
So, tell us about what it is that you do.
I'm a support worker. That's my regular job. I support people with autism and challenging behaviours. But I do a lot of the ukulele stuff. I teach at my local library. I do that every fortnight. It's like an hour session. And basically, during lockdown, me and my daughter, we started doing these song requests, really. And it kind of all spiraled from there. It got bigger than what we expected it to be. And a lot of the local press kind of got involved with that as well and jumped on board. And it's just been an amazing journey.
It has been fantastic. And of course, links will be in the show notes to this, because if you haven't seen them yet, you should go and see them now.
Yeah.
So tell us about the ukulele that you brought this weekend.
Right. I'm lucky enough to have been asked to be a flight ukulele artist. So they do this on their website. They want people to approach them, and it's not about how good you are or how talented you are. They're just looking for people who they feel represent their brand, and I was lucky enough to be chosen by them. I've been doing it for 2 years now, and they sent me a Flight Phantom, which was the wrong one. They sent me the wrong ukulele. So I said to him, look, I think you made a mistake here. And it says, yeah, we have, but you keep it. And I've never been one for fancy ukuleles, but as soon as I started playing it, I knew that was the ukulele for me. Do you know what I mean? It just felt right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So what do you think is, how do you feel like the ukulele is doing, and where do you see the ukulele going from here?
Well, it's amazing how it's sort of like progressed over the years. Nowadays they don't teach kids recording in school, it's all ukuleles, which is great. And the people I teach are kind of an older generation as well, so you've got both ends of the spectrum there. You've got your younger ones and your older ones, but artists such as Billie Eilish and stuff are kind of bringing it to the forefront as well, so you find a lot of sort of like teenagers and stuff kind of getting into it. I think if you've got a voice, it's the perfect tool to be able to put that forward. There's too many guitar players out there, and everyone plays guitar, but now it's looking like everyone's playing ukulele as well. But it's cheap, it's transportable. I don't drive. If I've got a gig, I just put it in a bag, get on the bus, and I'm there.
Nice. So where do people go if they want to find out more about what you do?
Well, I've got all the obvious social media platforms. I started off on Facebook, and I swore by it. I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I've started dabbling with the other stuff now, the TikTok. Now, I don't know if it works or not, but it's a lot of fun. Because you can put short videos on, you can put longer videos on, and it's got all these fun things you can do with it. But yeah, I tend to do TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. And it's all just type in Uke Dad, and I'll be there at some point with a smile on my face.
Outstanding. So what question have I not asked that you think that I should ask you?
Interesting. What question do I think you should have asked?
It ends up being my kind of catch-all. If somebody said, well, I juggle with the arm that comes out of my back, and you haven't seen that yet, but now watch this. That's what that question's in there for.
I think my question would be, what do you think of the Beatles?
What did you think of the Beatles?
I think the Beatles are amazing, and George Harrison is a ukulele player.
Well, and as we say at the end of every episode, we're going to count to 3 and say aloha. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha!